Make sure you subscribe to this, like it, share it. Get everybody involved. You know the routine. Let's get this going.
You're traveling through another dimension, a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind, a journey into wondrous lands whose boundaries are that of the imagination. Your next stop, the Cardone Zone.
You know the routine. It is the 239. It is the Monday Night Raw. Get you some. Let's go. I know one thing. It's so hard getting used to this room and the echoing. It drives me nuts. It like the sound of my audio sounds chaotic on here. Let's see. That sounds a little bit better. Anyways, you guys know the routine. It's another Monday Night Raw. It is the Cardone Race Corner 239 race boat. Man, oh man. Tonight's show is going to be kind of interesting, as you can read in the chat, or in the mid topic. It's going to be Chit Chat PWC. I've been sitting back watching some stuff and watching everything concur and going on with what's happening in the industry. You know, it's just had me thinking and put more stuff in the room then. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing the audio. The only thing is I can't because it's kind of like my kid's room too. Like it's Giovanni's room plus our game room. It's hard. But anyways, what I was thinking about doing, or thinking about tonight's show, what I was thinking about in the last couple, since our last show, is this. I was hoping the chat would be a little bit more thicker, but you know, we'll make it happen. Let's get everybody on board because we're going to talk about World Finals, Pro Watercross, East Coast Watercross, Great Lakes Watercross, P1 Aquex, the Farthings, what they got going on, and just all around general. So let everybody know, get in the room. Hotshot's going to have more kids. No way, dude. I don't want any more kids. Anyway, so one thing that was on my mind more than anything is this, and I can contest to this hardcore. Now, a lot of you guys have been wondering, you know, a lot of you guys can already tell, like, I've kind of like drawn off the show, not as much in intensity as I used to in this last year. You know, with my son going to school and then taking care of that and being by myself, or not being by myself, but just me and the girlfriend and the kids, I kind of like sat back and did a little bit of my own stuff, and then we had some job changes and stuff like that, etc. And then I had another kid that we just had, which is Wilder. So I've kind of been slow on the show, and my time has just really been stretched out. But the real big factor is this: I'm absolutely burnt out from the jet ski community. Now, I don't say that individually wise. What I say is, it doesn't matter what we do or how we do it or what the fuck we put in to please people. There's always complaining in this sport. It is the worst complaining I've ever encountered in all my years of industry doings. I mean, street racing has less drama than the PWC community. Now, don't get me wrong. We have built our foundation of this show off our drama and excitement and future threats and stuff like that. But the thing that goes back to what I say is it's pushed me away is because I've been around a lot of sports, automotive sports, anything that involves engines, I've been around it. The only thing I haven't been around is jet boat sprint racing. I haven't been around that yet. You know what I'm saying? That's just, I haven't been close to that. Swamp buggy racing, airboat racing, circle track racing, short track racing, dirt track racing, go-kart racing, drag strip racing, eighth mile, quarter mile, mile long runs, in all the sports. The crying and bitching is amazing, right? Is in the PWC. Why do I say that? Is because we're still hung up on this 1990s fucking saga, and I don't understand this mentality of like, Why are we gripping onto this old times snowmobile racing? I have not been around that yet. I've been around the snowmobiles and the water and the pavements. They do drag racing down here with those. I don't understand why, and good to see the bets, but why are we hung up on this 1990s, 80s mentality? I don't understand how we're in 2025. We got hydro drags coming up this week, and we got jet skis doing 142 miles an hour, right? Let fathom this, 142 miles an hour. We have stand-up skis doing 70 plus, and they're anywhere from $20,000 to $70,000 build stand-ups. We've got full carbon fiber runabouts. We've got sport boats that are evolved into $30,000 sport boats, whether it's Hamilton, whether it's the Thai boys, you know, Bullet's coming out with some good stuff. We're still hung up in these 1980s and 90s era bullshit. I don't understand how it continues to go through, right? It's so frustrating. And I've been in the sport for a while. It's so frustrating, it irritates new people. God forbid a new person comes on the chat into one of these Facebook groups or something like that. This goes for rec riders too. But they go in there and they ask simple questions. They just get their asses chewed up left and right? I don't understand. You guys wonder why there is no TV at our sports. You guys wonder why there's no big sponsors want to be involved. Because social media, if you guys can tell by the Charlie Kirk situation, the social media will ruin careers. Immediately ruin careers, right? Yet we still have people that don't do anything for this sport, are still badgering the system, and still crying about things. Like prime example, you guys are still hung up on this Scott Fraser situation. You all hate Scott Fraser. Not all of you. I personally don't have a problem with Scott. I actually have detailed, pleasant conversations with him on a regular basis. Never have a problem with him, right? I've always seen him to be a civil person, except when you treat him like shit. If you've already burned him once or screwed him over or pissed him off, he's just going to treat you that way every time. But again, let's go back to what I was going to say. You guys all cry about that. Okay, so Scott Fraser's out of the Facebook, right? Out of the whole face of this of World Finals. Who are you going to put in there next, right? Hypothetically. Then that person gets in and has to fix everything, and then finds out it's a whole whirlwind of fucking shit that Scott used to do, and now someone else has to do it and has to figure it out. You guys are going to complain and bitch at that person. It's proven. I mean, it's comical, right? It's comical to see how it goes. Like, let's figure out this. What was the sport class racing, the Bronson, Missouri, where they paid the Sport GP guys to race, right? They were paying money. First to 10th place sport guys were getting paid. Basically getting your entry fee covered almost, and sometimes a little bit more. And you guys all started complaining because he kept racing at the same spot. But guess what? He continued to pay people for the sport class. So you drove 12 hours or 18 hours or 20 hours. Branson, Missouri. So what? You drove. He was paying sport boat racers first through 10th place. 10th place, you were getting basically your entry fee back. And you motherfuckers continued to cry and complain. He just said, fuck it, I'm not doing it no more. COVID hit too, that really screwed everything up. Right? You guys blow me away. Like, when you see these chats, like I saw that post go with the Thai guy leading. You guys don't get this. This dude posts something every year poking at Scott Fraser. For the last since COVID, he has been 4 years now, been poking this same nonsense. Scott needs to get out of here. The board of members, who are the board of members? Who cares, guys? Who cares? Legitimately, who cares? If the World Finals is so bad, then stop going to it. If it's that bad, stop supporting it. Stop doing it. We've already proven that with another industry. Now, I'm not saying screw World Finals in general, but I'm just saying in general, like, take that money and voice out, like, prime example, Sean Dudek is talking about pro watercross. What would you guys like with pro watercross, right? Could we have a true national tour, or can we just keep it Florida? Because half you guys don't even want to travel anyways. I mean, prime example, the Wild West guys had a great connection of people. It took them 2 years to get people from California to start traveling, but their numbers are huge. None of the Great Lakes people traveled for any of the Triple Crown, right? East Coast Watercross for the Triple Crown went to every spot. There was a core of East Coast Watercross people that traveled for the Triple Crown, right? Not one AJSA guy traveled to Great Lakes and then went to Region 8 New York. None of the Great Lakes Watercross people traveled any other 2 locations, right? I'm not bashing on Great Lakes Watercross, but this is what I'm talking about. Everybody wants to cry about we want this, but if you look at it, you guys, no one's really putting forth the true effort. So why even have a big, drawn out championship race when it's this minute numbers? You guys wonder why these promoters are just like, fuck this, man. Like, they don't want to do anything. Like, prime example, the Wild West guys have conquered their region. And I bet you they're going to continue to do that because they're going to stay within their realm. They're going to focus on their racers, give their racers the best racing for the buck, and continue giving back to the racers. Why? Because they're not trying to make money off their system. Now, it's great to make money. We all talk about that. But the money to make isn't there. It's the excitement, the fun, the family, the adventures. That's where it's at right there. That is what you guys should focus on. You know, Sean Dudek put that post up there talking about what do you want. This is the time for you guys to show up. And the first multiple comments I see in there were people that weren't even racing. Oh, the Bud Tour. Who fucking cares about the Bud Tour? Don't care about it no more. We're not in the 90s and 80s no more, guys. Think new. Absolutely new. New. Like P1. P1 started off with an awesome core. And they got greedy. I want to say greedy. Wrong choice of words. They got lost in the etiquette of what they built transpired because they wanted the manufacturers involved. Well, 99% of anyone that owns a jet ski in the runabout world does a stage 1 plus on their builds. Stage 1 plus. Every rec rider out there does a stage plus 1. Stage 1 plus. And do you know what stage 1 plus is? Normally it's a tune, intake, and exhaust. I don't know about you, but I would love to hear our runabouts with exhaust. Everybody has them. Every boat out there gets a through hull exhaust. Everybody. But we're not allowing it box stock. Why? F1 cars sound like freaking $1 million machines going by. NASCAR goes by. Dragsters got full exhaust. Dirt bikes. Now the dirt bikes, they have a noise violation, but a noise ordinance they have to keep, but they still sound amazing. They're still allowed to run pipes. And they're factory bikes, right? Factory, right? It goes right back to what I was saying like before, like then you get involved with this, you know, then it became this like money game. Nobody has, you know, like if you want the Joe Schmo to come and race, but you have a class where you have to change a supercharger clutch every moto. You have a class that you have to show up with 3 backup motors and 3 boats. Now, there's gonna be a bunch of people saying, well, I don't do that, Bobby. Well, then you're not winning races because we could see the winning teams and look what they're doing. I did the privateer shit for a while. Matter of fact, I'm still on the same motor from my 21 RXPX that finally just had some issues and we're pulling out and getting it rebuilt. Factory supercharger still. Maybe 2 adjustments on it, haven't rebuilt it yet. Am I winning races though in the P1? No. You see how I'm going with this? Aquabike, UMI. They just have badass, 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 and badass. That's their classes. That's all the way down, right? Badass. We continue to talk about, well, we want, right? Well, do this. Well, you did it and no one showed up. Prime example, Dudek put runabout guys. Guaranteed payout for the runabout guys. Nobody showed up. And I know there's enough runabout guys up in that region that could have showed up, at least put 8 boats on the line. Just saying. It amazes me that we're sitting here talking about, you know, put Scott on the phone and put Haggy on there. Man, Haggy's one of the biggest pushers of whatever he's got going on, right? And he wants to talk about, and I got no real big problem with Chris. I really don't. He's never done me wrong. I could hate him from what I see, right? From all the posts and everyone talking. I could dislike him just from what I read, right? But he hasn't done me wrong. So me speaking is just me speaking in abroad. If Chris could do so much that he says, because he puts himself out there so much about all the stuff, there's a paper trail of things that he screwed up. Like legit paper trails that could be put out there for everybody to read. And I've seen it. You know, he wants to cry wolf, but you had a chance to put your paperwork through. Prime example, let's go with the homologation situation. You had a time frame to put it in. You didn't put it in. There's emails back and forth saying, need you to get it, need you to get it, need you to get it. You didn't do it. You get told you can't do it. Then we start crying wolf, right? There's a situation there. But you want to talk about you can do, but where have you been to do? Where have you got buoys and helped the region out? Have you reached out, you know, like get yourself involved. You say you want to take over wolf farms, you can do much better, but you're still stuck in that 90s mentality, right? We're still in the new Syria. The aquabike guys are moving hella fast. They got time on their boats. They give live time action. Shit, they got course marshals that run you the fuck off the course when you're in the way. We're sitting over here with our course marshals doing circles, looking off in La La Land sometimes. Can't even get a course marshal to call a red flag because they're scared to piss off the racer or the guy that brings 7 boats and we're gonna upset him. Or his wife's gonna come yell at us, or his son's gonna cuss me out, or grandpa's gonna come over and throw something at me. Man, we're still stuck in this La La Land. Like I sit back and watch this and I'm just like, dude, I've got thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in this sport. Shit, got almost $10,000 just in this equipment right here for you guys. Thanks to sponsors reaching out, donations. Hotchkiss for one of my monitors, Steve Hotchkiss in here. Chris, PWC Doctor, hooking me up with a new soundboard. 2 of these computers were paid for from all the shirt stars you guys used to do on the Facebook when you get monetized. So that's just this right here in the computer room. We're not even talking about 2 trailers now, 2 different trucks, multiple skis now, multiple builds on trailers, traveling all over the place. And you guys talk about crying about simply stuff. And you wonder why there's a lot of racers that I race with that aren't in the sport no more. That I miss racing some of these guys. Some of the guys that we used to race with were gangster. You race with Ken Waddle, Johnny Smith, Sam Nemi, Little Sammy, the Skellets, the Hayes brothers. Then you had a whole bunch of Georgia Mafia guys out there. There were a whole crew of those guys. Jonathan McHenry and his people, all those stuff. Like tons and tons of people that used to race that don't race much anymore now because they're just tired of the bullshit. Like, what do we got to do before we really realize that the mentality of that what was is never going to work again? Like, what are we going to do? What do we need to do? Let's check out come hang with us, the Wild West. The Wild West guys have a lot of fun. I had a blast there. There is heated race moments amongst the racers. And I think a lot of them have cooled down this year because a lot of them watched the show and we went over videos and realized a lot of things that we saw within racing in the moments was excessive. And then when we cooled down, we realized it's a different situation. So the Wild West racers in general have adapted and learned to be a very competitive group, but a very camaraderie group. Like they're open to help out. Like I had 2 of the guys, I had a whole bunch of people offer me boats to come up there and race if I didn't have a boat to race. But they all want to beat me, right? And I all want to beat them. We all want to just beat each other and have fun. We all want to come through and get on the Cardone show and show that highlight reel of the whole shot monster, the victory lap, right? We all want that. Wild West probably has one of the best circles I've been through in a long time. I have a blast with Region 8, my Region 8 friends and family over there. It's always a warm welcome with them guys. I've never had a problem over there. It's always been a pleasure and always been just one of my most absolute favorite times. Great Lakes Watercross has some great people in that mix too. And we're talking about regions. Again, talking about regional level racing. Texas, Naughty Water guys. My Texas, when I went to Orange, Texas, I had a blast. I ended up creating multiple friendships there that I'm still in connect with. So when you talk about it, like our regional level racing is tight. Where are we at? Remar, Let me see where the chat is. Catch up chat real quick. So I'm gonna keep going. Scootin, Deegan says, same people that cry but not having a national tour are the same ones that refuse to race anywhere but Havasu. That's what I went back to. I didn't say California, I meant Havasu to say that. That Havasu circle, man. You guys have the same race site over and over and over again. You guys hate change. If you guys could have a race at Body Beach, you would have a meltdown because it would be like, oh my God, and you still would complain about it. And that's Body Beach. That's where you guys practice all the freaking time, dude. It's amazing. East Coast says, to be fair, a handful of Glenmar which went to the first AJS round, but none came to New York. Okay, there was a handful that came down. Who came down from Glen? Okay. I thought there was only one or two, maybe. Remar and Sealy went down. That's right. Remar and Sealy. That's right. They did come down. That's right. Scudder says, but people that self-proclaim having done more for jet ski racing than anyone else says. Blow-off valves for sure. That's another one I'm talking about. Annie says, Bobby, you have to come to Sparks this year. I'm definitely coming back. I'm hoping to come for at least 2 stops with you guys. Definitely Sparks. You can count me on Sparks. And then there's one more that I've been talking with some of the owners about, and I'm hoping to make something happen. Bradshaw says, because all the Karens from Cali are moving to dope places. That's funny. He should come here too. Christopher, but he's done more for just Scudder's on a rampage with Haskett. Do a podcast like they did at World Finals at the Heat Hotel. All the peeps. Russo's in the house. Man, Russo. I love Russo. It's the 90s ego. I'm still here. Russo's still here. But Russo, you complain about a small course because you're used to the P1 Aqua X. So it doesn't matter. Cunningham says, let's go. What's up? 8-1 Racing's in the room. Baker's in the room also. So that's that mentality we're talking about, right? All right. If you guys saw, so let's stop bashing, right? Let's stop bashing. Now, what are we going to do to change everything, right? Because everyone can get on the keyboards and talk shit, right? Everyone can get on there and biggity bad boom, 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 right? But really, ultimately, what are we going to do? My strongest suggestion from watching this from outside is this. I don't want to see 30-year-old skis racing. Unfortunately, Russo, a lot of people, that's what they have, and that's what they're comfortable with. We have to let it go. I can say this. Do I feel like our classes should get minimized down? Definitely, right? Do I feel like there's some classes, if there's still 6 boats on the water, there's still 6 boats on the water. Those are 6 entries that still paid for. 99% of the time, the entry fees are $200, so do the math. That's $1,200. Or something like that. Is it 2, 4, 6, 8, 10? Yeah, $1,200. I had to think about it for. But then you still have our big boats. All right, so we're gonna go on this one. They'll never go. So then you're gonna film on this one, Jason. So you guys all know Russo Performance, Russo Marine, big runabout guy. He's the one that really put Cowie, him and Dominic Barella really pushed Cowie's, the 310s, to race hardcore. I don't want to see, he says, I don't want to see a 30-year-old ski race. Basically the X4s, the sport classes, this and that. Then we go back to this. Then we have our runabout, our EXs and our Sparks, right? Our rec light runabout guys, right? Go back to our box stock. Again, there's rules that are so outdated that we haven't evolved to them, and we're still racing box stock boat with stock exhaust. Why can't we run a through hull exhaust? It really isn't a performance gain. Some people are gonna say it's not, some people are. Some people are gonna say, well, then you can run more timing because you can get the exhaust out faster so it doesn't run hotter. Some are gonna say there's no proven numbers on the jet skis for through hull exhaust, blah, 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 right? Then we go to Sparks and the EXs. I honestly don't wanna see the EXs rolling around doing 51 miles an hour and there is absolutely no race change. I would love to see a Spark with the EX. You know, right? I like to see an EX open class. Here, I know in Thai they have all kinds of shit, but would be great to see an EX do 65 miles an hour. That'd be gangster. I'm just saying. Some of these classes, like basically the EX in sport would be EX spec class, EX GP class, and then EX open, right? That would be the rec lights open, all that other stuff. And they're gonna be like, oh, we have that, but you still have the 2 strokes racing the 4 strokes. It's the same thing. I can make them all go fast. I can afford the pass. Grassroots is strong. That's what I'm saying, Scudder. But the thing is too, like, we have to continue supporting the grassroots racing. If there's 40-year-old skis, 30-year-old skis, and they're still showing up with 10 people on the line, guess what? I'm going to support that 10-person line. Guaranteed. Over and over again. This is what it is. Let's change the name from box stock then. I'll open up rule change period soon stuff. There's Sean Dudek in there right now. I like the box stock runabout class, right? That is my class. I like the race. It's that and sports spec, right? I just feel like we can still have a stock boat. You know, we couldn't name it box stock. You're right, Sean, because it technically isn't stock no more. Personally, well, because what they have in Australia, I don't know if they have it here. They have what's called showroom stock, and those guys, you guys aren't allowed to change. If I remember correctly, they're not even allowed to change. Bailey, if you're in the room, they're not allowed to change the seat covers or the turf. They are allowed to add hand grips, new grips. Everything else has to stay. Fire extinguisher, mirrors, stickers, everything. Basically, you buy it from the showroom, put it on the water. Not even a tune, nothing. New Superjet Sport Spec and new Spark class. Our biggest lines are the vintage class. West Coast, Wild West, you guys have the biggest class as your vintage class. I would never take that away. Make them all go fast. I make them all go fast. All right, so think about when we see our promoters opening the doors for opinions, right? Do people really care that much to see that? What's your question, MJB? I don't know who MJB is. What is the question? Do people really care that much to see that? Like, what is it we're seeing? Explain the question a little bit more so I can find out where I'm at. Oh, showroom stock. Here in the States, that shit don't fly. Just like I said, there's not one wreck rider out there that's like a real deal wreck rider. As soon as that Sea-Doo hits 10 hours or 6 hours and it releases that break-in period, boom, JP Racing Tune, Kyle's Performance, Riva, whatever, immediately, right? Yamaha, I don't think there's a break-in period with Yamaha. Pure blow-off valve, intake, exhaust, cutting holes through the hull. See ya. So showroom stock in the United States is never gonna happen. Box stock is the most stock I think it should ever get. Yeah, in box stock, so runabout box stock, you're allowed to do all handling parts. So there's like two different worlds. So IJSPA, you're allowed to run no prop. Pro Watercross, you're allowed to run prop. IGSPA, you're allowed to run all handling mods, ride plate, intake grate, sponsons, steering, controls, seat. Seat has to stay stock, can't have any extra humps unless it came with a hump. And you can change all your turf. Can't change any intake tubes or move them around. You can change the flame arrestor, and that's it. Correct. However, was sort of could cheat as you couldn't check the ECU. Now, here's another thing. There is a way to check ECUs. There's gotta be ways. There is ways because there's stock RPM tunes and there's fuel trim tunes, stuff like that too. And timing, you can see timing, it data logs it. I don't know. We got to get rid of the 90s era. That's all I got to say. This constant bickering, like 200 comments, and it's all, well, back in the day we did this, and such never does this, and such did this, and we did this over here, and this was done this way, and this guy said such and such on the show, and this guy is this. I can just do this for an hour of this nonsense. ESPN's covering people getting slapped around. They get slapped bad, dude. I don't know how that's even a sport, dude. That's brutal. So, going into it, here's our next phase. We've got Hydro Drags this weekend coming up. Billy 2, sponsored by Fizzle, Fuel Tech. Is the world record going to get broke this weekend? So Sunday's going to be Speed Alley Run. I believe this. Let's go over here to our post real quick. Let's see what we got. Billy's usually blowing me up, but I haven't been doing. So Hydro Drags. So here we go. It's going to be at the Sunset Cove Amphitheater in Boca Raton this weekend. It's going to be U.S. Nationals World Championship, Hydro Drags, Fuel Tech, Fizzle, everybody. Let's see where they got new class. So let's go over here to the quad. Where are they at? They had a couple new classes too they're going to put on there. But if you go to what is it? All right, so here goes. So Saturday's lineup at registration is going to be open at 7. Gates open to public at 8. 8:45 is racers registration closes. 9 a.m. racers meeting down at announcing. 9:10 open practice. 9:30 is going to be turbo no nitrous racing. 12:45 is going to be pro stock racing. 1:45 pro spec racing, and 5 p.m. events over. You got to vacate the property. Rec ski lights, time permitting. Rec ski lights. So then Sunday's lineup. So 7 a.m. registration, 8 a.m. gates open, 8:45 registration closes. 9's gonna be racers meeting, and at 9:15 they're gonna do speed alley. So speed alley is where we see who the fastest. They got like 3 GPSs on there. See who the world fastest record holder is gonna be. 10:30 be open practice. So look at that, 9:15 to 10:30. So you guys have a small, an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 20 minutes of a window of racing. Boy, Billy's going to have the Spanish culture on fire, dude. They're going to be just hooting and raving. So then we have open practice at 10:30. At 10:45, super stock racing. And at 12:45 is going to be unlimited racing. Then awards. Who's taking home the big money? Who's going the fastest? Are we going to show up with the new JP Racing Turbo Ski, or are we not? I'm not sure. We might not. East Coast, let's see what we got right here. Russo, what the hell are you typing? Russo says, never teching ECU. All right. Tech and spec should know stock parameters. Correct. East Coast says, our goal is align rule books nationwide, and we have talked about it. All want it. We just need to align to start. That's another thing. I think we should just get rid of this. If it's not mentioned, then you're not allowed. That's great. If it doesn't say I can't do it, I'm fucking racing it. If it doesn't say you're not allowed to move your air intakes out of the stock spot, I'm moving them. It says stock intake, stock air tubes have to be there. They're there, but I moved them, right? What's the purpose of them going underneath the engine? This gray area bullshit, this nonsense lawyer talk. We really need to clear rules. Just say it. Period. Not allowed to do it. MJ, my name is Mikhail Brooks from the Cayman Islands, by the way. Oh, okay, from the Cayman Islands. Been a fan for a while, Bobby. I was the flag man at Mike's Racing Tavares. Oh, Brooks, my man. Okay, now I remember. All right, I got you, bro. Thank you. This YouTube with it not knowing the names, it's hard. Brooks, Kyle Brooks, yes. Scudder says, man, I would like to be in the Caymans right now. This cold wind's brutal. All right, so there's that one. Now, you guys know our man Dudek is diligently working hard. So, you know, he's running pro watercross, him and Terry. Those guys are going to work it out. And really looks like there's going to be a big change in the way that boat is sailing, right? Now, I know a lot of you guys and gals, you know, I was one of the biggest leaders that got burned by pro watercross, and I had my own reasons, and a lot of people saw the reasons they got burned. But after a while, I still supported the racing because I wanted to race. I didn't support AJ himself, but there was people showing up on the line that wanted to race. And I can't sit on this computer and sit here and say, oh, you know, we have to ban this guy and do this. You show up to racing, when that's the only racing that's feasibly right in my neighborhood. All 3 of those stops was an hour from my house. So I did show up. I wanted to race with Shelby. I wanted to race with Dominic. I wanted to race with Killer Keller, Matt Johnson, those guys, anyone that was showing up on the sport boat. Shit, we haven't touched the sport boat since we did that race over there by the Tennessee Titan, that time trial thing that we did for a while. You know what I mean? I haven't touched the race boat. And the boat's still sitting there with a broken starter from the last race we did. But with Sean Dudek at the hand and at the helm, I really feel like a lot of people now can see that there's that person that was in charge is no longer in charge. I feel like now is the time for us to show up and support that region of racing. We have a ton of racing on this coast, and we haven't had any closed course racing in a long time. A lot of us were traveling 13 and 18 hours for just racing, and it got tiresome. Dudek is really working hard, and he wants to bring a whole new level to the racing. He wants to take it to the next level. So I feel like let's all bond together, unite, and support this. if the fucking course is small, Russo, just race it and suggest adding 3 more buoys next time. Don't cry about it. Rally up some people, get them out there and race. If you see something that's going to be something that can change and for the future, give them an email, shoot them a text. One thing that we were talking about, me and Sean were talking about, and I threw the idea because he was talking about having an outfit. We're going to have back-to-back weekends. So we're going to have a week where it's just, you know, kind of stagnant. And so I mentioned something to him, and I was thinking about it. Maybe we could figure it out. Where's it at? So he was talking about, I was reading what I had in the conversation. We were talking about Friday open practice, or, you know, Friday being practice if enough people show up. And I know everyone usually shows up on Fridays for practice. Everybody does. We're all usually traveling Thursday night, or we're just getting Friday. It's good to get everything together and make it happen, right? What I said to him is, a lot of you guys knew I did that buoy course 101 for the Middle Tennessee. Robert Perry put together this last year, and the year before that, it was the Junior Stars with Doug Underhill. I suggested maybe he tried doing something like that again, possibly happen at Alfred. For a lot of guys traveling, especially coming off the winter, anyone has practice time or something like that. I had a pretty good success rate with the guys that raced with us. I mean, Morgan Allen did a phenomenal job coming on the sport boat from the 2 practices that he did with us, having a phenomenal year this past year. So I suggested maybe we should do some kind of buoy 101 thing for the same thing for some of the new racers. And he was kind of spitballing the idea, and maybe we put it out there if you guys would want to do it. We'll have Fridays open practice basically. And basically what we could do is before practice, we can do a segment where we sit down and we talk about our rider etiquette, the flags, being course awareness, what to do and what not to do situations, just general questions that some new people racers or racers that kind of been in the game for the last year and are still questionable what's going on. There's going to be like a 30-minute or 40-minute, whatever it's going to be, a sit down, and then we will go out and do a practice. We can do starts, practice starts. We can do buoy course or I'm not even trying the word anymore. Orientation, right? And then some other stuff. So that was one of the ideas that he came up with. You know, like basically the same thing I did, and we would do that before the whole practice. And then once we did our situation. It could really come out to, if we do it the right way, you could possibly get, where is it at right here? So he advertises his East Coast Watercross Friday practice. You can get 4 10-minute sessions in, so 40 minutes on the course. So if we do it just right, there's enough time to practice starts. Let's say we spend maybe, you know, a few minutes on the course, so we kind of understand already, but we want more practice on the lights. Or practice with new holders, because the one thing I can say with a lot of racers is this. A lot of people don't have holders that follow them when they go racing. And the one thing I taught everyone before is, as a racer, when you're going somewhere, it's understanding how to communicate to anyone that just runs down to the shore and wants you to help, because they don't understand unless they are a racer and they've been with you before. 99% of the time, anyone that comes down and helps you doesn't know what's going on. So the biggest thing I could teach was telling our racers how to communicate new holders what to do, because your start will ultimately make or break your race. And a lot of you guys know I am a monster on the line, and I can win races just from a start. It's not cheating, not jumping, not a cheater boat. It's legitimately street racing for me, like drag racing. That's just my reaction time. I love that shit. And it really comes down to some of my holders I've always had, or the ones I communicate with, ultimately know exactly how I do it. I'm not dragging them. I'm not drowning them. I'm not hurting them. I'm working with them and helping them set me up to where I get the best start. And that's one of the things that you guys can do too. So if you're interested in doing that and you want to do something like that one, definitely reach out to Sean, text him, email him, private message him, let him know that you would definitely be down with that, so he can get a general idea if that's something that could happen. And this goes for most of all our promoters too. Whether you want me there or you have somebody who can do it there too. I know I've had very good success. I have a really good idea of how to do it now, what my game plan is, how I do it, and how I put it all together. and you can reach out to, I think we had 14 people on the last one I did, and they could all give you a good reference on doing. So this is something as promoters working with new racers. This is something I enjoy. I think it really takes to the next level. And I really think that's an awesome thing to do for our racers, because when I first got into sport as racing, I had a bunch of people around me. I practiced with the Markham Park guys, which was Team Broward and all those guys. I practiced with some of the best top tier racers I could ever imagine for, and I'm forever grateful for that, because that put me on a level. I was racing a novice beginner guy racing with 5-time champion, world champions, national champions, regional champions, just battling with all these guys and just getting, my first year I was getting lapped by the top 5 people at least 3 times on my sport boat, just getting my ass handed to me. Never got frustrated, never got mad. I slowly got more confident, and then one day I just realized this is what we got to do. This is how we do it. Then I really stepped up and jumped into runabout. Never raced runabout in P1 in my life. First 2 rounds was sketchy. Yes, I went home the one time, but I had family issues, so I said screw it. But when it comes down to it, the opportunity is there. I think we should do it. I think it's something good. I think you guys should reach out to Sean for that one and definitely figure out what's going on. And then, like I said before, if you guys are interested in bringing me on board for one-year events, let me know. I'm open for next year to make shit happen. Holders 101 course, that we could do too. I would love, we could do a segment on that one too. That's another one. Really, when it comes down to it, but a thing I can say about the Holders 101 course is this. It really goes back down to our racers. If you're going to an event and you don't have a racer, you should be reaching out to your fellow racers that aren't racing your class and talk to them. And then break down of how, and you should have that one-on-one with them before. Anyone that knows me can always vouch. I always find the guys that are going to help hold for me, and I've already talked to them multiple times. I've already helped them, and they already know when I'm going to be on the water, how I'm going to be on water, and what to expect. So that for your holders is based on you as a racer. That's what you got to do. That pink tank is still fire. That shit's hilarious. Sean put on a great winter Florida race in like 18 days. Imagine him having time to plan and let people know ahead of time. Speak up for change. Now is the time. Definitely. Sean runs a tight ship. Scudder says, man, I would like to be. Okay, so we already did that one. Bat says, shudder because you're still wearing Bobby's tank. This shit's hilarious. That pink tank top. It's funny because when Chris Scudder said he wanted a pink tank, I didn't understand what he was doing because it was a woman's tank. And I'm like, are you sure? He goes, yeah, I definitely want. I got the conversation. And he gets it. And he's like, yo, I'm like, I told you it was a woman's pink tank top, but you wanted it. I don't want it. That shit was so freaking funny. That shit cracks me up. Oh my gosh. Andy says, great idea. Mad shout out to the girlfriend, the fiance, because she's the one that put it back in my ear and said you should reach out to Sean and say that. So that was her chirping in my ear. So if that idea comes on a plan, you guys should credit her on that one. Baker says, find someone to help advertise each race and each host city immediately following the schedule release. Spend money to make money. Now that's another thing too. Promote. As us racers attending, we should always be antagonizing those that are going to be going, calling out the Bats, calling out Baker, calling out the Zarzinskis. Are you going to be at that event? Better bring your A game. Chicken Man, are you bringing your runabout? That is promoting too. Get the commodity going on against each other. Plus, also promote in the region coming up. The one thing I can say that I've got some of the best pictures before I started knowing a lot of the photographers in the sport is any city I was going to, I started looking at the photographers that did in that area. And then, so like the news and stuff like that one. And then after the weekend, I would go back and find those articles and find the photographers to see if they post anything. I found a ton of people on Facebook that are friends of me on my Facebook now. They're photographers, and that is how that works. You give them a little bit of spotlight, they will blow you up crazy. And those are the ones you want to reach out to, like, hey man, we're going to be at this race, check us out, It's simple stuff. This is easy stuff. This stuff I did for a long time, man. Did this for a hell of a time. I'm telling you, this shit works. I got a lot of my sponsors because of the viewership I got. Kristen says the 101 course is a game changer. There will be so much unknown for new racers that will discourage them from getting into the racing. Yes, starts are key. East Coast, best advice yet. Baker says, preach it out loud. East Coast says, Holders 101 course. All champions from the 90s. Haru says, I was searching all over for you too. Oh my gosh. Andy says, I have one. It's so cute. Crisco says, user error. I'll wear that shit with pride. I'm not, but not too much pride. Dude, he cracks me up. Oh man. All right, so going into it, we got Hydro Drags coming up. We also have the final race, King's Cup or whatever they call it now. It's going to be going down in December. Who's bringing home a big Castle Championship trophy into the United States? All I know is there is a ton of racing in Europe now, and the Aussies are racing heavy over there. Shout out to 81 Racing. Bailey Cunningham and his family and all of them are putting together. Bailey wasn't able to get time to go racing, but they rented out their boats because they were already going. They already paid for everything. So 81 Racing boats are going to be there racing. I would love to be in Thai to race. I just don't know if I could take a week away from my kids. I don't know if I could do it. That'd be amazing, though. I think it would be one for the bucket list to go to Thailand and race one time at least. I'd definitely like to go to Australia for a weekend, definitely do that. But going into our winter series, we're definitely going to come up here on the show some more. Again, I told you guys before, who is our next guest to come on the show? We've already opened the chat room to have the guys on for honest debate. And to go back to this, too, I'll say this. I will definitely host a legit badass debate. No over talking. I can literally, we could be sitting there talking. Nobody can hear us. I can just mute it up anytime I want. So if there's any over talking, we just choop. You know what I'm saying? So I am down for a nice open casual debate. And if shit gets out of control, I can always just in their live stream. It's not a big deal. So, but also, who do we want to bring on show next? Once you call those complainers out, it turns crickets. I've been calling. I will say this. Since the making of this show, within the first 6 months to a year, we had a blast on the show. Then the second year, we went right into calling out the ones that were cancers of the sport, right? Those that were screwing racers over and all that stuff. And we legitimately turned this sport around. I remember Facebook posts were nasty all the time. Now we've gotten to the point where there is not many people publicly shaming the way it used to be because we don't deal with that shit no more. And we'll put them on here and we'll talk shit to themselves. So there's that one. Walking Street. Once you call those complaints out, JR Demon's in the room. So figure out who you guys want your next chat on. Definitely just hit up our boy Daryl. We'll get him on. We'll talk some more. I'm definitely going to start. I think we'll just spend the rest of the winter just touching everything over and over again. We're going to start hammering. Dudek, he's got his Alfred coming down. Maybe we'll get some foot. I know MVP Productions, my boy Manuel. If you guys aren't on his Instagram, go check it out. MVP Productions. I know he always live videos, the Hydro Drag Racing, always has awesome videos and clips, and probably has some of the best pictures in the sport racing. I love my dude. A lot of my pictures are from him that I use for my rap and stuff like that. So check that one. Also, go to the Hydro Drags Billy 2's Instagram. Check out the racing. Cool weather this weekend. Cool. What was Stewie? Cool Whip. All right. Well, I'll come. Brian Baker says, I'll come on and express how disorganized I personally see how the International George Sports IGSBA is. Jared Damien, what race you making it out for? Well, I am definitely coming to Sparks this year, guys. I'm going to make Sparks happen. As long as can you make it to where it doesn't happen on the first day of school? Because my daughter is going to have first day of school next year too. So anyways, anything else before we close this one out? Dudek, you in the room? Anything else? I know you were busy in the shop, so I didn't know. I saw you in the room a couple times. Before I closed out. Snow in the Sparks? No way, dude. Let the chat catch up. Let me catch up. Why isn't Russo Marine on your screen? I don't know, Russo. You never reached out to me. You never threw me a nice donation for me to put you up here, but I'll get you on Russo. I'm going to get you your own whole page right here. How about that? It'll be Russo Marine right here. I promise. I'll make it that one. All right. Anything else, guys, before I sign off? Donation. Don't be sick either, Russo. All right. Well, that's it. No one's in the room. No one's talking. Thanks again. I appreciate you guys. Remember, make sure you hit the subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, share it, like it. If we get ourselves back to 500 subscribers on the show, on this page, we will get back to having, remember when we had the stars, it was like a penny penny per star or something like that. It was like 50 cents for 50 of them, something like that. That goes a long ways, helps me with the computers and stuff like that. If we can get 500 subscribers, legitimate 500 subscribers on the channel, we can get back to having some live donations and make shit happen. It helps us go in the long run. East Coast Cross, all good, baby, working hard. All right, sounds good. JR says good too. Until next time, you guys know the routine. It is a 239. It is the Cardone Race Corner. Till next time.